Hi. What up? What up? What up? Let me know if I'm coming through the mics. Um, I had no way of testing. So we have a completely new setup for how we do things, but I had to use the old setup because I haven't really configured the new one yet to work as seamlessly with the way we do the show. Cool. Cool, good. Appreciate it, TJ the voice. I will not be solo tonight. Q will be joining me. He just pulled into the driveway. FIFO said he'll be here at 9:21. So we'll see. I know he texted me earlier, said he had a project or something he was doing. And I think Shelton is joining. Shelton rarely misses a show. So I think he'll be along. But I haven't heard from him. So we'll see how they go. But yeah, Q will be on momentarily. So yeah, he got all the topics that we're gonna talk about. So we'll get into it when he gets here. In the meantime, in between time, Falcons and the Panthers are playing right now. It was 3-0 when I turned it off um, to do the show. So I don't know how that's going, but it doesn't look interesting. I think the thing about that game, not even a game, but it's about Kyle Pitts and his lack of production based on the way the offense operates. It's been really disappointing. He's on my fantasy team, and yeah, hasn't been doing too looking too good for your brother. I don't know if we're gonna get into this when he get here, but I just did a 365 about this, and LeBron came out today and said Kyrie should be able to play after apology. Yeah, LeBron, no shit. Um, but you could have done. He could have done a lot more to back him up instead of what he did. But this thing, man, I don't even know if they're gonna walk this back. It'll be interesting to see if they do change their stance on it. But yeah, apologize, condemn the movie, 500,000 donation to anti-hate causes. First of all, how the fuck are you gonna tell me how to spend my money? Like, if I apologize, why the fuck I gotta give you 500,000? What the fuck kind of shit is that? If I apologize, I'm not giving you any of my goddamn money. Sensitivity training, which is funny. Um, Anti-Semitic training. So not only does he have to go to sensitivity training, then he got to go to anti-Semitic training as well, and then he got to meet with the ADL Jewish leaders and Joe's Tsai, I guess, to demonstrate his understanding. Demonstrate understanding? Are you fucking serious? I got it. There's some shit in the fucking documentary that has Jewish tropes and shit like that. There's anti-Semitic. I fucked up. My bad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend anybody. And, that's that. Why the fuck? What is there to understand? Maybe next time, you know what I do understand, Joe? I understand that maybe next time I won't just share the shit publicly and just talk about the shit behind the scenes, which is what a lot of people do, by the way. A lot of people do talk about the scenes behind the scenes. But when you're Kyrie and you have influence, you got to be careful about the things you say and the things you tweet. But after I do all of that, I gotta sit down to you and tell you what I fucking understand. Kiss my fucking ass, bro. That's what I would say. And then I gotta give $500,000, man. Y'all don't lost y'all goddamn mind. So you've been on my ass about apologizing, and then he didn't directly answer the question when the guy was like, "For the record, do you have any anti-Semitic beliefs?" Kyrie should have just simply said no, but he tried to get cute and walked around. He probably was annoyed, but just say no, bro, and walk and leave it at that. You say no, you get that on the record, and they keep going at you. Then it's another whole situation. But yeah, that's kind of crazy. But I salute to Jaylen Brown though for actually coming out and being one of the first ones that I saw saying that he felt like it was excessive, and I guess now everybody trying to get brave now and help speak out for the boy. But yeah. So yeah, but at the end of the day, Kyrie, man, just Be careful what you post, or just don't post shit that got anti-Semitic shit in it, regardless of whether you disagree with it. Because he said he didn't agree with some of the stuff in the film. Regardless of whether you disagree with it or not, as soon as you tweet it, as soon as you post it, you're gonna be associated with it. They're gonna label you with it, even if you deny it. It's just the way this world works and the way this media works. So don't put yourself in a situation, bro. That's it. That's it. And then we moving on. But speaking of the Nets, though, Jacques Vaughn was hired instead of Ma. Um, I am of the belief, conspiracy time. I am of the belief that if this Kyrie shit did not happen, and I'm sure some of you guys may share the same feeling, if this Kyrie shit did not happen, they would have hired Ma. But once that shit happened, they did not want another PR firestorm that they would have to deal with. So I think that's why they pivoted to Jacques Vaughn instead of hiring Ma. KD right now, I know I called the man old. He still look old, but he is fucking playing his ass off, and he got these boys winning, and it's working so far. And it's going to be interesting to see kind of like what are the things that are being said, in the press conferences and stuff like that. Because we all knew Nash couldn't coach. We all knew Nash was, for the most part, a figurehead and nobody listened to him. But could Nash have really been an anchor on that team to the point where they didn't even want to play anymore or play hard for him? And now that he's gone, maybe now they were like, all right, now there's a little bit of more camaraderie in the locker room. They don't have to deal with that anymore. And they can move on to just focus strictly on basketball. And trying to win these games and becoming a threat in that conference. So we'll see. So far, it's looking good. And KD is putting on the show. But KD, my man, you made 62 free throws in a row. And when it came down to a clutch free throw you needed to make, the one you needed to make, and you didn't make it, bro. What that's not a good look. And KD has a history of missing these damn type of things, man. He did it in the playoffs against the Spurs, I think, or the Timberwolves or something like that. And he just did it again. But yeah. What up, Q?
Yo, you can hear me?
Yep, I got you.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Mm-hmm.
Evening to everybody in the chat. What's good?
Yep. Still 3-0 on the game. Okay. Yeah, I think shoulder surgery went cool. But yeah, conversations. Hey, conversations with Ken. I fucks with that title. For real. I might have to, hey, I'll give you credit. I might have to take that one. Cool. Yeah, I was just talking to the people, man.
For sure.
Just pulled up Bleacher Report, went through a few things. LeBron's statement, coming out saying that Kyrie's punishment is excessive. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Appreciate it, but a little late. And Jacques Vaughn being hired by the Nets, and how well the Nets are playing, and how well KD is actually playing. Honestly, so I gave that brother some props because I called him old, man. I called him old, but he's doing the solo dolo thing.
I mean, he is. I mean, right now Brooklyn's in a very volatile situation. You got, like we just saw, KD with the free throws. We seen Kyrie with the whole, and then Steve Nash being gone, Ben Simmons, his whole back surgery and the lingering effects of that. This is a very weird situation that the Nets are in, man, because you can make as strong of a case on each side. One side will say blow it up. The other side says let's see it through. This is an assembly of fantastic talent. So I don't know what they're gonna do. All I know is that they are in a very very weird pickle right now.
Let's see. Let me. This is interesting. Huh. I'm gonna read Tracy G's chat. I'm just not catching up on this. Or seeing what's being said. Let me put the super chat up. Candace Owens had the best response for Kyrie and how fake media is and how she stands with Kyrie. It's funny how the black community shunned Kyrie and people like Candace was for him. And I pulled up an article. It's on Barrett Sports Media. And she said, when I watched this press conference, I felt Kyrie's pain. As a black person, people don't often think about how bizarre it is that we don't know where we come from. If you ask the majority of white people, they'll say, "Oh, my family's from Scotland. My husband, blah 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 blah." So I'm not saying that she just gave more examples about people where they're from. I'm not gonna read all that, but I'm not saying this is someone else's fault. But what Kyrie ever said is that you cannot pit atrocity against another atrocity and basically say that his pain doesn't matter. So no, I'm not going to turn my back on Kyrie Irving and pretend that he's an awful human being based on this press conference. Ain't that some shit? We got Jason Whitlock and now Candace Owens. That's fucking nuts, bro. And you know, when I was looking it up, I'm thinking about, like, if you think about her affiliations and who she's mostly aligned with, and you think about how that side operates when it comes to just saying shit and not walking back from it, I think that's part of why she's saying where that kind of that DNA comes from is that they'll say some crazy shit and they won't apologize for it. They'll kind of talk around the crazy shit that they said. You know, whereas most of the time on the Democratic side, if they say some shit, get caught up in a firestorm, the first thing they do is quick to apologize. Republicans don't really do that. You know, even if they caught in a flat out lie, they stick to their guns. And but I think her saying that the line about the atrocity part was kind of wild. Yeah, this is my first. I appreciate that, Tracy G, because I did not know she said that. Again, I'm not capable for Candace Owens. I think the conversation is just how the responses from certain parties and certain people, how varied they are. And it's just interesting seeing that side when you got a chance to really condemn this guy for what he said, and you would think that the Whitlocks and the Owens of the world would definitely do that, and they didn't. So it's really interesting.
Well, I think that it's actually so funny. We don't need to make this a political conversation, but we can obviously dip our toes in since it's just me and you here. This is actually remnants of an old podcast that me and Ken did years ago, where we just really just shot the shit about a whole bunch of shit in politics and everything. And honestly, I feel like that needs to make a comeback, and we're gonna discuss that at a later time. But when it comes to Kyrie, this whole situation just highlights a conversation we've been having on this show for a couple weeks now, dating all the way back to months ago when the whole Raiders situation and the emails came out. I have reached a point of exhaustion as a sports viewer. I've reached a point of exhaustion where I no longer have the patience to discern who and what is the moral high ground and what person is good in all of this. As I get older, I just hold the position that business is bloody, business is dirty, business is racist, business is sexist, business is all these IST words, all these ism words you can put on it, right? So with this knowledge of this is where we operate and this is what we're viewing, why am I trying to, hierarchalize which team is the most pro-friendly for black people, which league is the most friendly for black people? All these leagues are exploitative of the smaller people who sell popcorn, all the way to the employees, to the front office people. Everybody's getting exploited, and it's all from an elite class of ownership and their lackeys. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because it relates to the whole Kyrie situation, but it relates to everything that we are seeing in sports. I think the world and the fact that it's very much on fire right now is it should be a lesson to people that looking for good guys in this, looking for heroes in this sports world is like going to, a crack house and then trying to find somebody who can help you get sober. That shit, it makes no sense because all of the structure that we're talking about, whether it be MLB, NFL, whatever, all of these owners don't rock with black people. All these owners use black folk, use athletes, use the bodies of these young men, use the bodies of these young women. So Candace Owens, or if it's Whitlock, them speaking on the behalf of Kyrie, that's cool. But my final thought is just there shouldn't be no qualifications in this shit anymore, dude. We're getting to the point where athletes are calling out Nike, like Jaylen Brown is saying, when does Nike stand on ethics? Y'all use sweatshop labor, dude. Like Adidas, y'all were founded by Nazis. So what do y'all want to really like? What are we talking about? All these different brands want to distance themselves from anti-Semites. Y'all were founded by anti-Semites. Adidas, Nike, y'all use Singapore and Thailand and all these different, basically proxy states for U.S. imperialism and corporate plunder of the third world, and y'all pay and barely even pay, if that, 3 cents on the day to young kids to put together Jordans and in factories that are owned by Chinese elite. This is where we at. So y'all want to pick and choose who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, dude. It's criminal. It's all this shit is criminal.
The thing about it is that, like, do you know the amount of work somebody had to do to go watch that documentary to see what it was about, to find that stuff? I also thought about that too. It's like, if he shared this thing, how did you even know what was in it? For the record, I did watch it. It is a lot. I described it on the Mike Salone podcast as a mess because it felt that way when I was watching it. But my thing is, like, to sit there and say, oh, what is this? I mean, it's good journalism if they actually did do it, but or they got tipped off to it, but it's just kind of crazy. I think the thing is, he wasn't comparing atrocities, but this conversation isn't really about like what Kyrie was or wasn't doing. We're talking about more or less the response from his peers, the response from Black people, and a response from Black people that are typically sometimes viewed as being anti-Black. And I think that's kind of what Tracy was highlighting, is that the Black community was quick to just walk away from this guy, where you have more conservative leaning people who you think wouldn't do it was actually showing support. And you, like, if typically what happens in history is that when what's happened just in general with the Black communities, that there's what up, people? There's a catering to massa, to not appear to be one of those type of Blacks. The comment is, you guys saying LeBron don't want to mess up his money with, which is right. LeBron don't want to mess up his money, so he's going to come out. Look, and nobody even asked LeBron, I don't think. He just volunteered his statements, or maybe they did. But LeBron went over the board, and now he want to come back when he thinks it's over the top. And I think just in the community, there's a way to, and I've been saying this, there's a way to be critical of what Kyrie did if you disagree with it, without going overboard, without being Shannon Sharp, calling the guy names, questioning his intelligence, yelling at him and loudly, and being over the top to the point where you like, damn, Shannon Sharp and everybody else, are y'all fucking Jewish too? Like, y'all act like y'all were offended by this.
First of all, like, fuck it. It's just me and Ken and Fifi for the night. We having a real conversation. Anybody who has the ability to feed, clothe, house, and quote unquote defend you, and you do not have the power to do so for yourself, you are a slave. You are a slave. And very matter of fact, the black world, specifically in America, African America, as I like to call it, is still enslaved. It's just by a different name. And when you look at Kyrie Irving, Kyrie doesn't have the context to actually articulate in a way that I can, or people who have the context for world history and African history and this present day moment that black people are in. And that's why it's an easy target for Kyrie to, come out and just post a link to something that he hasn't even watched or read. It's easy to clown him. But notice how Skip Bayless doesn't yell at Brett Favre. Notice that. Please notice that Michael Irvin and whatnot, all these people, they don't get off on screaming at white coaches and white folk and whatnot. And Shannon Sharp can be like, Kyrie, you's an idiot and you can blah, 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 blah. All that shit, right? Meanwhile, Skip Bayless is like, man, Brett Favre did the wrong thing and blah, 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 blah. The reason why that's important is because at the end of the day, Skip, even if he's not a racist, even if I don't know that man from a can of paint, there is a familial nature that white folk have with each other that has been splintered in our communities. So that's why when they tell us to go like attack dogs and attack one of our own, we don't question shit. We just say, what master? Oh, that he's the bad nigga? Yeah, we getting him. But as soon as white folk do some wrong shit, they have meetings. They close ranks around. All right, so what do we do about Brett? What do we, man? Hey, y'all seen Brett? They don't go out on TV and start screaming and all that. But the minute it's one of us, and it's got to be an understanding that Black people have been fed centuries of misinformation. Black people have been fed centuries of misinformation. Understand that there are generations of our people who are still alive who were denied the access to books, denied the access to read. So these are the contexts from where our grandparents and great-grandparents are coming from and how they were able to acquire knowledge was strictly through instinct and the memory of survival. And how this impacts the Kyrie situation is I don't like other black folk teasing another black man for wanting to open his mind up. Y'all niggas don't even read shit, but mad at Kyrie for wanting to open his mind up. And you see that they got us attacking another black man for trying to open a book or watch a documentary. The principle is correct. The application of watching that documentary perhaps was misguided. Yes, there are anti-Semitic things in that documentary, and Kyrie should learn from that. But shouldn't it be us as brothers and sisters of him to be like, hey, bro, that's not it. No. You shouldn't watch that. You should read this book, bro. This is the answers on who we are. You are right. We are Semitic peoples. Literally, geographically, we are Semitic peoples. But what they're saying is mythological, bro. There's a much grander history here. Here's these books. Here's this documentary. Instead, well, Shannon Sharpen, you was an idiot, and he's an idiot. Kyrie ain't been wrong about shit, but this and the earth being flat. And then the whole fucking black community wants to turn around on him. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I feel you. All right. Well, let's get into the title of this show, man. It's about that rookie in Orlando, bro. Banchero.
It's time.
Man. Is he the clear-cut rookie of the year?
Yep.
Already.
I think there's some other dudes playing at a nice clip. Jaden Ivey's really balling. But when you look at it up and down, man, Banchero is that guy. He's the guy you build around. And as good as Ivy is, he's just a nice piece to the puzzle. So now Banchero, he's definitely earning it right now. I don't think there's another rookie close, honestly.
I think
what you said, Q?
Mathurin is probably like if Banchero's right here, I think Mathurin's like right there.
He just had a good game last night too.
He's been going nuts for Indiana. I think he had 23 in the first 13 minutes of the game. Come on, dude, what? Crazy.
Yeah, the thing about Paulo is that it's almost like he makes it look easy. Like he belongs. Like he just didn't come out of college. Like he's been playing with these dudes Like he's been in the league like 2 or 3 years. And it's kind of wild, and the impact that he has, even though a lot of it isn't starting to turn into wins, but like the numbers he's putting up for a rookie, it's like, bro, you put up like damn near veteran numbers.
You know what it is? Physically, he's ready to compete. So obviously, when you mix a certain level of physicality with a certain level of skill, you're gonna have early success. But like to your point, and that's why I always say it takes rookies 3 to 5 years to really figure out what it is to win. I can't remember what I was reading. I think it was something on The Athletic or something like that, and they were talking about or I was watching something where LeBron was talking about, sometimes you get guys that come onto your team and they've never played winning basketball because they've never been part of a winning organization. They may be skillful, but they don't understand the level of sacrifice or the little plays that actually turn into wins. And when you're a rookie, you can be individually successful, but like you said, it's not turning. He don't know how to do that yet at the NBA level. Obviously, he had tremendous success at Duke. You got Coach K. Obviously, you come with a certain level of pedigree, but the NBA is a different animal, right? Like you playing against guys that have been playing for 10 plus years. You just now got here, bro. There's a certain experience level that 98% of rookies just can't overcome. You know what I'm saying? So, but all that being said, he belongs. He's gonna be one of them ones.
Yeah. And he what I like one of the things that I liked the most when I was watching him was that he wants to win. And that sounds like one of these Shelton things, y'all. But it's like when I was watching him play, like he gets hype, he gets frustrated when shit don't go well. Like I'm seeing him get on teammates and stuff like that. And like there's a level of competitiveness there that he has just right away. And it was just interesting seeing that from him. Like he feels like he should be winning now. Same thing with Jaden Ivey. When I was watching Jaden Ivey he was making the shit look easy. And running up and down the court, laughing and smiling. I'm like, this guy, does he not know he's in the NBA playing against other like professionals that, like you said, been there 5-10 years and shit like that? Nah, he just out here. I'm just hooping, bro. So on NBA.com, and say that if Paulo's stats hold up, if he continues to average 23.5 points a game, 8.3 rebounds a game, and 3.6 assists a game, that would be the highest scoring average by a rookie since AI in 1997, the most rebounds since Anthony Towns, since Cat in 2016, and the most assists since LaMelo Ball in 2021. So yeah.
Yeah, what did LeBron average?
Let's see.
Because I could have sworn
I thought he was 20. I thought he was 22 and 6 or some shit this first year.
Yeah, I know Banchero got him in the scoring and rebounds, but the assists.
I know it's LeBron James rookie season.
I thought it was like 6 assists, right?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I don't know why that LaMelo stat was weird. I don't know why they pulled him.
I want to say LaMelo probably averaged almost 10 assists his rookie year, though.
Yeah, no. So LeBron in his rookie season, he finished with 25 and 5. So basically 21 points a game, 5.5 rebounds a game, and 5.9 assists per game.
21 or 25?
20.9. So basically 21 points. You got to round it up. But yeah, he did have more assists.
Yeah, I knew it was like 22 and 6 or something.
Yeah, I don't know why they.
What did LaMelo have? Because he probably had like 7 or 8 a game,
which
is crazy for a rookie.
But you know what? The one thing about Banchero that's so, his game is beautiful to me because it's like the perfect mix of agility, physicality, and like just finesse. You know what I mean? It's like, if I can give you 2 players that I think he reminds me of, like a hybrid of, I think it's like Jason Tatum and Julius Randle, like the best qualities of them. Like he has the handle, he got the wiggle. I think the shot is going to develop even further out. He's going to be able to shoot threes at a high clip. I think that in the paint, that shit reminds me of Randall. The way that he just dribbles around guys and, you know what I mean, like fades of that little 10-footer, like, dude,
Q,
like,
you know
amazing.
who he reminds me more of? He feels like a descendant of Carmelo.
Yeah, like
You know,
more so like an updated version.
yeah, you know, today's moves, but Carmelo's prototype. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Because how tall is Banchero's like what?
6'10".
6'10", so a little bit taller than Carmelo. Sweet
Mm-hmm.
jumper, mid-range game, very
Mm-hmm.
quick, hezzy, off the dribble, pull up. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he has that type of game.
The reason why I say Randall, look at Randall's best season and with the Knicks, right? And it sounds like I'm taking shots at it, but it's not, because I think that if Julius Randle's not had that contract, we look at him differently as a player. It's just how it is for most guys that are getting overpaid. But if you look at Banchero's game and you look at Julius Randle, the way they operate within 12 feet of the basket is very similar. They have a lot of the same moves. When he's outside of 12 feet, it's very Tatum-esque. It's very tween. It's very fluid. It's very blow by guys. You know what I mean? And it's like the fact that he just has that on top of the shoulder in the dude's chest, one, you know what I mean? Like up and under. Yeah, man. Like he's got it to me. I think Mathurin is a fantastic player as well. I think that Jaden Ivey, Sheldon disagrees with me about this, but I've been saying it as well. I think with Jaden Ivey's case, I think Jaden Ivey, people see Ja Morant. I see why people think that. I think it's too simple of a comparison because, he jumps like Ja and he may have a shot that's similar mechanic like Ja. But I think his development along with Casey, if they keep him, Casey, that is, if they keep him, I think he's more of like a Jaylen Brown type to me. I really do see like that raw athleticism with him. I think that his off the dribble game can get more fluid. The way that Jaylen came in, he was very mechanical, just like that. Everything was disjointed. If you look at the first 3 years of Jaylen Brown's career, he couldn't dribble the ball, couldn't really use his left. There was no real tween game. There was no real handle, and his pull up was non-existent. Jaden Ivey has a lot of that same flash. If they develop him along those same lines, if he goes in with the same type of coaches, I think he has the exact same frame, the exact same skill set. It's like a hybrid between him and Ja.
Like, what do you mean same frame? Because he's a lot shorter and smaller than Jaylen Brown.
In like a point guard's body, Jalen's like 6'7", right? So Jaden, was he like 6'2", 6'3" or something?
6'3".
Yeah. So in like in a point guard's body, I think the frame is like, fitted to that. It's like how people called Eric Bledsoe mini LeBron. It's like if you put LeBron's body in a point guard, they were saying that. So it's kind of the same thing I see with Jaden Ivey, because to me the shot getting separation is not hard for him.
Yeah, when I watch Jaden, you see a pure athlete that is that's extremely confident. I think he lacks the experience / awareness of, in my opinion, and it's not like a big gap for him, but how to dominate a game consistently. You know what I'm saying? Like he dominates in stretches, but he can't dominate the entire game. And that's just a knock for most rookies, most young players. That's why I always give, everybody a 3 to 5 year rule, because those are the things that you need to develop over time. I would say that's the only knock on him. You know what I'm saying? And then he takes a lot of risk defensively, but I get it because he's that athletic, so he, should. But now, like somebody I just saw say, if you didn't follow basketball, you wouldn't know he's a rookie. Because he just like it, like you said, Ken, like it's effortless. Like he has the thing that I realized years ago, right? Like because I was predicting all of this, all of these young guys coming into the league. The difference outside of skill set is the confidence that these guys are coming in the league with. They're not scared. They're not, that's LeBron. It's like, that's LeBron. You about to get this yam. Like they are not scared.
I see
of
a
nobody.
lot of that this year.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that Mathurin guy, man. I didn't watch college basketball last year, so
because you know what it is, Ken? Immersion. Immersion, bro. When you immerse children in an environment, like we all thought Kobe was an alien because you grew up playing against pros since you was 9. Now that is for the top guys, the top 40 guys that get drafted, top 40 players in the league. They've been in the Kyrie camps since they was 9 years old. They've been in the KD camp since they was 10. They've been in LeBron's camp. They've been to James Harden's camp. They've been to Curry's camp. They played against. You saw Chet playing against Curry when he was 17 in scrimmages. So it's like these guys, like that's basically big bro when you get to the league. So now I'm playing against big bro. I'm not scared of you versus being Harold Miner, and then you got to play Jordan. That's different. Like it's like, oh shit, I'm supposed to be the guy. They've been almost groomed and engineered to have this confidence.
Yeah. I because when I was watching in Indiana, I thought Mathurin was just having a good game, and that was my first time watching him. And then he just kept doing it, and I'm like, well, what the hell is going on here? And I got to tell you, man, the more I see Halliburton, the more I think Sacramento look like goddamn fools, bro.
I've been telling you, Sacramento has been fools for a minute now.
This one is bad, FIFO.
I know.
This one is so bad, bro.
I know,
and I know Fox is playing well and whatnot, but golly, man, somebody need to figure out how to make that work.
Halliburton is younger too. I don't understand why they couldn't run combo guard because Halliburton likes to pass.
Yeah,
he had double digits. I think he's had multiple games with double digits assists this year.
Yeah, and De'Arian is a scoring point guard. So you could play a scoring point guard with a combo guard. That's complementary basketball.
Yeah, I don't understand because the thing is though is that Sacramento, they could have damn near kept Halliburton and Fox, and they could have been bad and got Victor, and they'd be on and popping.
No, I'm saying Fox is. I did say Fox is balling. Yeah. I'm not criticizing Fox. What I'm saying is they should have kept Halliburton too.
Yeah,
because the guy can play. And what they're saying is that they could have ran this combo guard thing. Like I like De'Aaron Fox. I like them coming out and out of Kentucky. This is not a knock on Fox at all. This is a knock on Sacramento.
100.
Shit. It don't make sense.
Is Malik Monk on the Kings as well this year?
I don't know where he's at.
I think so, man.
Because that's funny if him and Fox on the same team. Yeah, he plays. Yeah, he plays for Sacramento now. He signed. He signed a 1-year deal or 2-year deal. I think he was balling for the Lakers last year.
I mean, yeah, which I felt like would have probably been a better situation because he did have we finally saw Malik could damn play in the league for a while. It didn't he was going to have a chance to play. So he showed that he has a certain skill set on the right team. He could be extremely successful.
That's what we're seeing now.
Go ahead, Q.
No, it's all you. Go ahead.
Malik Monk's issue has always been fit and consistency. Because he didn't fit in Charlotte with Kemba. It's like, bro, you like 2 baby small guards? Like, that's not going to work. And then, his issue there was consistency with the Lakers. Is like it was a better fit, but the consistency was still slightly in. To me, Malik Monk's biggest issue at this point is consistency.
Yeah, I agree with that. But man, he was almost out the league.
He was,
So I mean, he parlayed it into another contract with Sacramento, so he just got to keep it up. But yeah, I don't know.
I just think that's where we are. I think that's where we are. To pivot off of this to bring a whole new point in, I think that's where we are within the NBA, dude. Like the way that talent, like we always talk about, talent is just outpacing the amount of spots that are available, and what that's doing is it's an overflow. The overflow is causing coaches to not be able to really see it for guys who, if they go to another team and they can get playing time, they be a star or be a great player. Case in point, Victor Oladipo. Case in point, Lauri Markkanen this season. How many teams he done bounced around from? Yep. And then went to the Jazz to be the premier guy with a coach who everybody's always raved about. The Jazz's new coach. He was sitting behind Popovich for years, and everyone apparently says that he was the golden boy ahead of Udoka and ahead of anybody. Brett Brown, everyone. So this is a situation now in the NBA where there are guys who have had damn near NBA level reps, like I said, since they were 9, 10 years old. So now when you get into this league now, it's just a matter of like what FIFA said, you got to find the fit. Does a coach believe in you enough to give you the minutes? Like we're seeing Lonnie Walker, he was buried in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Lonnie Walker, if he's given the ability to play through mistakes, like young guys, there are certain guys who can just get the concept of the team and play within their role. And those are like the best guys that the Warriors find, those rookies. But then there are the rookies, dude, who are just so talented that you need to deal with the growing pains, because after the growing pains is going to be this beautiful growth spurt of this NBA player that you never thought could have did it, but just needed that little push to say, I believe in you, go and make the mistakes.
Have any of y'all watched the Jazz?
I've seen highlights. I haven't watched the game.
Is this shit sustainable?
It is. It is. There's no way that there are 8 better teams than this team as personally constructed. I don't see how they miss the playoffs if they keep going. Lauri Markkanen is balling his ass off, dude. Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, like they had like Conley's providing, leadership and that they need. Yeah, man. Like I don't know, but I do have a conspiracy though for y'all. Do you think Adam Silver, and this is what also people, if y'all want to call in or you want to, send super chats responding, do you think Adam Silver told the teams, if you all tank, I'm going to make sure you all don't get the pick. But if y'all actually try, whoever wins the most games, I'm going to make sure that y'all get the top 3 odds. The top 3 teams that like actually
that's not possible.
Try.
That's not possible, Q, because that's all collective bargained. So regardless, like if he wants to, show power, like that's gonna get all the way like thrown out of there, because at the end of the day, you can't prove tanking. You can't prove it.
They did it to the Sixers.
Because, huh?
I said they tried to do it to the Sixers. They installed a whole new GM and said we were tanking.
So I think the Sixers were too transparent in how they went about it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like you can't prove it, because let's just say, let's cross over the fence and the Utah Jazz was losing. Is it tanking? Because they sold their 2 best players for draft picks.
They did.
So how can you prove it? What if they just not winning? What if you? So at the end of the day, like Adam Silver can't say, oh, if you try and you win, like we're gonna guarantee you the top 3 spot. Nah, they don't work like that. But at the end of the day, I think Utah is a pleasant surprise because you have pretty much a band of misfits, and they're hooping. And it goes to a point that I wanted to make, that you said earlier, Q, about young players and roles. Established organizations or great head coaches with a system can provide a role, regardless if you're a veteran, superstar, brash rookie coming into the league. They know what they need you to do to be successful. But then you have organizations or head coaches that don't know what the hell they're doing, and they mess up a player's career and they don't reach the potential. We see that time after time. I think Nick has a really good point with Doc Rivers. How many people has he really developed?
Nobody.
Versus you look at Golden State, they draft goddamn 30 in second round and they're drafting future Hall of Famers. So you look at Popovich, right? Like to me, that was one of the first between him and Jerry Krause. As much flack people want to give Jerry Krause, like the motherfucker was ahead of his time. He drafted Tony Kukoc. You know what I'm saying? So you look at organizations and head coaches that have a real firm grasp on the identity of what they want their team to be, and they make the roles fit. But sometimes, man, there's certain guys that can have all of the talent in the world and don't make it. Like you look at somebody like Gerald Green.
Oh man,
you jump out the gym 6'7", 6'8", jumper, handles. it's like how do you and sometimes it is internal. So sometimes the player just they don't want it, to that degree. Sometimes, we could write it off to that, but sometimes it is fit. Look at J.R. Smith. Like you talk about 6'6" guard, shoot the ball. Sometimes it's a lack of focus. Sometimes it's a lack of maturity, but it is what it is, man. I agree with Q. The talent overflow is what's making the NBA product a better product. But they have to expand the league. The league needs 2 more teams.
I think Utah fucking up the church's money. Because they're not supposed to be winning these games.
No, they're not. They're not supposed to be as good as they are.
Nah. And it'll be interesting to your point, Q. Like if they start losing, like you can't prove tanking, but God, you jump from 10-3 to one of the worst teams in the league. If somebody, accidentally bust a knee somewhere, marketing, they've always had high praises for marketing and thought he was going to be like a guy.
Chicago, Cleveland, all that.
Yep. And to your point about like organizations, like he started out great, but then he just fell to the wayside. And it was Chicago, went to Cleveland, couldn't do shit in Chicago. He gets in Utah, and you got a coach that know how to use them and is using them right in a way that's turning into wins. So maybe he just got stuck in purgatory. He probably he was well on his way to being a bust. But I remember his first couple of seasons.
He was nice. Yeah. He was on the up and up, and then he plateaued and if not went down. Another player, I know I'm going back. Maybe I'm showing my age, but Boris Diaw.
Yeah.
When the Hawks drafted him, they didn't know what to do with him. That man went to San Antonio and looked like Draymond Green minus the defense.
Yep. And Phoenix.
And Phoenix.
Yeah.
You got to know how to use guys. You just
look, man. I still think that the NBA draft lottery is rigged a lot of times. I don't know how to say it. Like when Cleveland is trash and LeBron leaves, and the very next year they get the lottery pick and they get the next one after that.
4 number 1 overalls.
Like, come on now. Like, and then when the Sixers are, when the Sixers finally get the league involved in their team, and we get Colangelo becoming the new GM once they remove Sam Hinkie, then we get Ben Simmons. Bullshit. I don't care what no one say. Adam Silver or whoever, somebody got a conversation. Y'all will not be tanking. Play the game, because they already say the regular season doesn't matter. You all need to play the game. Play your guys. Try to win. And I'm going to make sure that whoever the top 3 teams are will have the best odds. Like it was always going to be if y'all were bad anyway. But we can't have a bad product out here. We all know that Victor and Scoot are the 2 top guys. I don't think it's completely out of the question for them to load up them ping pong balls, especially if Indiana, Sacramento, you see all these teams are literally trying every game. Last year there was tanking. This year all these teams are trying. Something's off, and I do have my tinfoil hat on. So that is that.
We talked about the Jazz. Shout out to Kev Timothy. So we talked about the Jazz surprising start. But are we surprised with the Lakers being 2-9?
No.
No. Based off of the way he put the question, I would have to say that Utah is more surprising, because the Lakers, I thought, just based off of experience and LeBron, they're not going to be a top team, but they should make the playoffs, right? Obviously, they don't look like a lottery team. But to me, the Utah is more surprising because I didn't see it at all. Again, a band of misfits. Like what was it, a year or so ago? I said Colin Sexton about to be out the league. They traded him, so maybe not out the league, but I knew he wasn't going to be a fit in Cleveland long term. Larry Marketing is like, okay, like again, we talked about him plateauing. And you get rid of what's his name, Donovan Mitchell. You get rid of Rudy Gobert. How many Defensive Player of the Years has he won? Donnie Mitch is legitimately D Wade 2.0 minus the defense. Like it felt like, okay, they saw Wembanyama. It's like, hey, we want that. And for them to be 10-3, the thing about like the highlights and a little bit of game footage that I have watched of Utah is that they're playing with ball movement. You know what I'm saying? They know how to attack, and they have a lot of guys with a lot of skills that are being highlighted. You know, so that's surprising more than the Lakers, because I think anybody, would think that the Lakers at best were a mediocre team, not a championship contender.
Mm-hmm. Lakers suck, man. They just are not good. Like the roster construction is just bad. Like it's just bad. And this is not a mistake that happened in 2021 or 2022. This is not even a mistake that happened in 2020. This is a mistake that happened in 2013. I believe they gave Kobe Bryant all that damn because he was Kobe Bryant. And you know what? Sidebar on that. For everybody who wants to, dick ride Kobe now that he's dead, Kobe would not want us to dick ride him now that he's gone. He would want us to hate him on the court. If we hated him then, he would want us to not fuck with him on the court now. That's the realest way to honor the Mamba, is be true how you was. I was a Kobe fan. I was not the biggest Kobe fan. But one thing is for damn sure is that he was going to keep it honest. And he would know that this team is trash. And this team has been, for the last 10 years, run by clowns. The Bus family, Genie, whoever it is, Kupchak got bounced out. Jerry West then went to a whole other franchise across the street. And you have Robert Sacre, Nick Young, the Lakers fans, y'all feel me, all the way down to mistakes that are just so crucial to this tenure. Trading Caruso, trading KCP, trading Kuzma.
No, not trading Caruso, letting Caruso walk.
Let him go. Like, just let him walk. And then it was really
and the difference was like $3 or $4 million.
$2 million. It's $2 million. It's $2 million. And all of this is y'all didn't learn from the James Harden OKC luxury tax thing. That I'm not saying it's the same talent, but y'all didn't learn you can't just pay $2 extra million to keep a championship roster intact. So all these guys are gone. You choose THT over Caruso just to flip THT the very next season for Patrick Beverley, who hasn't done a thing for your roster. And then you have the 20th season of LeBron James. AD doesn't know if he wants to be, Mr. Universe putting on weight in the offseason. He doesn't know if he wants to be Mr. Glass when he gets on the floor. Russell Westbrook is confused about his role. He don't know what the hell going on. Darvin Ham just signed up to get that bag. You know what I mean? Jeannie is too busy going on dates with Phil. She don't give a fuck. So this whole thing is a clown show, dude. I had no expectations for this team to make a playoff. And honestly, we're just here to watch LeBron pass Kareem.
When I saw that he was hurt again, first thing that went through my mind was Kobe. And how you almost really didn't see it coming. And then it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were like, oh, shit, Kobe can't win games no more.
Mm-hmm.
That's LeBron. LeBron can't win games anymore. And AD came out, and he's been complaining about not getting his shots. So if there's really going to be a transition of power, then they need to give AD the ball. And LeBron has to do what Dwayne Wade did. We're like, you know what, man, it's all on you. LeBron can't hit shit. He can't fucking shoot right now. His 3-point shot is fucking horrible. Westbrook is playing well in a few games that I saw coming off the bench. They actually look a little bit better when he gets out there with that second unit. But yeah, they're a mess. And if LeBron is out, if I'm Ham, I'm just going back to AD and what was he in New Orleans? Mm-hmm. And I'm just, man, just do your thing, bro. And see what happens. But
let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. If there's a team that should trade for LeBron, who is that team?
Cleveland.
What are you giving up? Because obviously you're not giving up Garland, Mobley, Mitchell.
I don't know, man.
Like, you're not giving none of that up.
It's got to be a package around LeVert and somebody else.
And K-Love?
And LeVert, K-Love, and some picks.
If honestly, I'm the Lakers, I'm like, hell nah.
I mean, I might have to take that. If you give me Jetty Osman, Okoro, and a first-round pick, I might take that for LeBron at this point in time.
You tripping.
I think they know that this team, even if they make a move, they won't win anything. That's why they're reluctant to trade those picks. And honestly, it makes sense. They're not winning anything with who can you go get? And then I think Darvin Ham called him out. He was like, yeah, man, look at the money. Like, we just ain't got the money to spend to go get guys.
I know, which is why you have to give up assets. So,
but you give up assets if you think you got a legit chance of winning the title.
Or see, the Lakers' issue is that they're always playing for right now instead of there's two windows. You have to play for now and for the future. In my opinion, as a general manager, right? Like, you have to be able to balance what you have going on now and what you need to do to move forward. And the Lakers have always been focused on now, which is why they don't have draft picks, which is why their old roster that's not built around the skill sets of their main guys. So in my opinion, you got to trade, if not all three of your quote unquote superstar guys, at least one or two of them. Whether that be Westbrook, LeBron, Westbrook, AD, AD, LeBron, like you have to move off of those assets to acquire more assets for the future. Because, like you said, you're not winning nothing now. So what the hell are you playing for? What are you playing for?
Yeah.
So that's why it made me ask the question: who should trade for LeBron? Because when you go through the list of teams, the one team that makes me be like, wonder what that looks like.
Portland?
Memphis. Exactly. Because we know in Memphis is this. Ja got the ball, bro.
Right.
So Bron, he's gonna get Bron easier shot. Where Bron is now, Bron has to play second fiddle, right? Because you already said that with his current teammate AD. So wherever Bron goes, it has to be where Bron is at a lesser role. We know Ja's on the up. Nobody taking the ball out of Ja Morant's hand. Even if Steph Curry went to, I don't know how it would happen, but if he went to Memphis, Ja is handling the rock. Steph, you go run around. I'll get it to you when you open. So to me, like, I think there are teams. I think Portland is very interesting, right? Because Portland, if you really want to make Dame win a championship in Portland, go get Bron. Go get Bron. Because Dame is another one. You want to take the ball out of Dame hand? No, Bron is going to have to figure out. So to me, Portland, Memphis, the Knicks.
Yeah, if you just want to make money, the Knicks would be good.
Shit, who else? I'm trying to think up and down. The Hawks.
Dallas.
No, I don't know.
Luka is basically LeBron.
Exactly.
But Luka needs that little nudge in the moments where LeBron can come in the playoffs and be like, all right, let's set this up. Luka, let's get you a nice shot. And/or I've been here before, because Luka just went to the Western Conference Finals last year, right? And the one thing he needed was a running mate. So obviously we want him to have a younger guy, but I feel like LeBron could help out in that situation easily.
I just don't think it's complimentary. I think Luka needs a joker, or I think he needs a big. It can't be another guy that can handle the ball. Like because Luka's so ball dominant that he needs a DeAndre Ayton. Like he needs a big. I don't. I
wonder if Dallas would plunge on the AD trade.
If who?
Dallas?
If Dallas, I wonder if Dallas would plunge on that.
That's perfect. That's perfect for Luka. That's a complimentary piece.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I look at it like that. And also, I definitely think in the next 16 months, we're going to get an Embiid trade. I think that's going to happen pretty much.
Okay, so I'm going to get to that in just a sec because we got a super chat about that. Tracy G says that we should be showing the Blazers more love. So I have issue with y'all not showing my Blazers love. They will be deep in the playoffs.
I'm rooting for Dame. I'm rooting for Dame to get MVP because if he can get this team to a top 5 seed, I am not letting a soul, unless Steph Curry does something that is just so incredible, like he's been doing. By the way, I think right now Dame and Steph are co MVPs right now. But if Dame continues to do this, there will not be a soul that is going to stop me from saying he is the MVP. Y'all let Joker win that shit twice in a row with seeds that were not top 3. So I'm not trying to hear any of that shit. If he's carrying this team and it's still February, March, I'm like, no, he's the MVP easily. So yeah, shout out to Portland. I love the young talent. Anthony Simons took a huge leap. He really studied Dame's game. You can see he's just like, man, it's like Miles Morales and Spider-Man. Yo, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I know I saw somebody say he was struggling because I haven't watched the Blazers this year, but Shaedon Sharp, has talent, and so they still got to work with him. I'm just not looking at because I see they're 8-3, and I know they've been winning games, but these are some really good wins. Like I do take quality of opponent into consideration, and they've beaten the Suns, the Nuggets, the Heat. Yeah, they got some really good wins on here.
On the topic of Dame Lillard, and I think most great players always have like a defining moment that they turn the corner. That defining moment for Dame Lillard was that series against the Pelicans. When Rondo and Drew Holiday took that man out the series, Dame was like, all right, watch what I do this offseason. And ever since that moment, Dame has ascended to a level that is MVP-like. But yeah, Anthony Simon, I've been talking about this dude for 2-3 years now.
I had him on my fantasy team last year, so I know what he was doing. Yeah. I was like, yo.
Inconsistent as hell.
He was good last year, though.
But he was
inconsistent early, but remember when Dame went out, Dame got hurt.
Yes. Yep, when Dame went out, that's when he got a little bit more. He got more consistent, 100%. But yeah, and I think that was his turning point, was just knowing that if I make a mistake, who Cole's gonna go to?
Right. Yep.
And sometimes young players need that. They need that reassurance that, okay, like it is my show. Like there is no other person, like he's not looking over his shoulder. Oh, I made a mistake. Dang, he about to bring Dame back in. He didn't have that. So yeah, he definitely got more consistent. But yeah, no, I always like Anthony Simons. I saw it in him. But yeah, no, if Portland finishes top 5, you got to put Dame in consideration.
I'll start paying more attention to them.
I will too,
because I thought some of those wins were flukes because it was early. But I'll catch up. We got NBA League Pass, so I can go back and watch those anytime. While we on Portland, Tracy G again. It's too late now, but real talk, KD should have went to Portland. Is what she said.
It's not too late for that.
It's not. And what have I been saying, Ken, for years now, right? Like when Carmelo was his exit out of New York, I said, yo, go to Portland. Like that point, that 3-man in the offense is what Dame is missing. Is what Dame is missing. And obviously he's more stable than Kyrie. Just throughout, Kyrie has never shown to be a leader. Dame is a leader. You could build around Dame. Dame is that guy. And I've been saying it for years too. The 2 most clutch guys in the NBA to me have been Dame and Kyrie. However you want to put it, Dame is one of those guys, man. That's where KD should have went, because just like Steph, it talent-wise, he would have been the guy, but it's not your team. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we've seen that is the best role for KD. KD is the super version of Robin. Like he could be Batman, but he's really a better of a Robin. And I think Portland would have been a really good place. But here's the thing, though. I don't see the Nets like blowing it up. Like I think they should. You know how I feel about wholesale changes. I think they should, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah,
KD got too many years on his contract. I don't see it happening.
Yep, neither do I. Tracy again. So back to Joel. She said it's time to trade Joel. It's a wash. They just lost to the Hawks tonight.
It will be very, very, very soon. It will be time to blow this up.
I don't. You think it starts with Joel though?
Right. That's what I was gonna ask. And
yeah,
and get what? Y'all like?
I don't know. The Sixers are not a good franchise, dude. We fucking suck. Like we're not. We don't make logical moves. Like Philly sports. We luck into doing good. When we're doing good, it's like, oh shit, we're good. Fuck yeah, we're good. Of course we're good. We're always good. We're never good until we're good. And the Eagles are showing that. Before that season, we all knew the Eagles were trash. We lucked into a great season this year with some good moves. And the Sixers had a window where they had some good moves, even in the midst of terrible moves. The margin for error was so vast. But that credit line has been expired, dude. James, with an injury like that, having the month off, with Joel with plantar fasciitis, with just the roster construction, with just the endless amount of just bad move after bad move, the amount of signings we just kept failing at, couldn't get guys to come that we needed on our bench. It's culminated in this, dude. We just don't have a team.
Getting rid of Joel would be you're not gonna find another Joel.
Yeah, I don't think we need to. I think we just need to re-up at a certain point. I am already at the point where we are going to arrive as a fan base collectively in a couple months. So it sounds premature because it is, but it's not if you can read the writing on the wall. This team is cooked.
I don't 100% disagree, but what I do disagree on is the timing of wholesale changes. It's not going to be this year. If the shakeup will be getting rid of Doc Rivers, first and foremost. Doc Rivers is going to be moved or let go, obviously. Then if they go into next season and it looks like this again, player changes are going to happen. And the thing I do like about the Sixers roster is that you got a lot of movable pieces. Championship contenders, they're not going to throw you the world, but who's the guy that looked like J. Cole? I can't think of his name.
Tobias.
Gotta go.
Terrible. And he can help a championship contender. Can you imagine him in Golden State? Like, bro, goddamn. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, fit. He's okay here, but he don't really fit. You go to Golden State, you go to Denver, you go to Portland, there's other places he fits better. So that's somebody that you can let go and get something for the future in return. Why? Because you got Tyrese Maxey. And you gotta invest in Maxey, a la how OKC is doing with Shai Gilgeous.
Yeah.
And how long has it been since they made? You got to remember how they made that trade like almost 4 years ago now, to the point where they already read him up and he has a max contract, and everybody else got rookie deals. So there are blueprints to what Philly should be going after, which is. Let's get rid of James Harden. Let's get rid of Embiid. We got Tyrese Maxey. Let's get rid of Tobias. And let's just stockpile the draft picks. Because y'all not – James Harden is not the James Harden of Houston. Joel Embiid, as great as he is, y'all not building the team really around him. What Joel needs is either a dominant – point forward a la Luka, or a dominant game managing point guard a la Ja Morant. Those are the two complementary pieces that fits Joel's game. If you don't have that, you're not good. It doesn't fit around Joel.
Yeah, I think you really nailed it to me, Q. It's just been roster construction, bro. They just haven't put together they haven't gotten the right pieces they needed to make this work.
Team after
and
team.
This is where we are.
So, Q, how do you feel about when they went and got Jimmy? Because I felt like that was the best version of the 76ers.
Yep.
And then when you peel the onion And this is why I love basketball players having their own podcast. When JJ was talking to Jimmy about it, and he was like, "Bro, Brett Brown was the issue."
The way I feel about it is similar to Jimmy, but it's even deeper than Jimmy even said, because really it's the whole team, front office, your brass of your organization. The Sixers brass has really no clue what it's doing historically. We luck into the Barkleys and the Dr. J's. We luck into Iversons. We luck into the Embiids. We don't have really historical philosophy on how to run this. Like the Lakers, Dr. Buss understood how to run the team. Let Jerry West work, get out the way. The owner, Josh Harris, he want to get involved sometimes. Then he don't want to get involved. Then he wants to spend a whole bunch of money 1 year. Then he wants to not. There's no philosophy. It's so weird of a situation, because Jimmy, I feel like he was like you said, the best version, because he held Joel more accountable than anybody has on this entire team's history with Joel here, right? Ben Simmons, he tried to hold Ben accountable. But like you said, if you go on the podcast, he was like, dude, I don't know who to speak to about the hierarchy here. Like, yo, who do I go to when there's an issue within scheme? And hey, let me, handle the ball more. Ben is not really a ball handler. That's what he was telling Coach the entire season. And he kept taking the ball out of Jimmy's hands. They kept taking the ball out of his hands. And I felt like when we lost to Toronto, the right thing to do was to sign Jimmy to a 4-year max, let Tobias Harris walk, and then sign with that $180 million the rest of the role players and shooters that we need. The backup point guard we never got, the defensive guy we never got, the wings we never have for Joel to play against the Giannis's and guard. We don't have guys that are switchable in 3 and D. We have PJ Tucker, who is here for a playoff run. You know what I mean? James Harden is not a two-way defender. Like, Joel Embiid can't be asked to carry 35 points and then lock down Giannis or whoever it is. He can't ask that. Tyrese is his 3rd year in the league. He's 22. He's not a traditional point guard. He's a gunner. Jimmy gave us everything we needed because he was a forward who could stabilize our front court defense to play kind of like linkage with Joel. And now with that gone, we're just stuck with a bunch of like, my turn, your turn, my turn. Whose team is it? Doc is terrible. Let's just try to run around the court for 60 minutes and hopefully something happens.
100%. I think another mistake, and I know I'm on record. Y'all could go back in the years. I was never a Markelle guy. I was never a Markelle Fultz guy. And, I wasn't that big on Tatum, but I know Philly was like they considered it. Bruh. Can you imagine if they would have got Jason Tatum? Like, I don't know. I feel, and then and
Mikal Bridges. We traded Mikal Bridges on draft night for Zaire Smith.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, do people realize these things? Like, we picked Jahlil Okafor over Kristaps Porzingis. Like.
And drafted Nerlens too. Like, you drafted 3 bigs back to back. Like, what? Like, who does that?
The owner.
Who does that?
The owner.
Doc out. The last honest Doc out. MAN could be a move.
Ime, man, I will take Ime Udoka and his white women fetish all day. I like, dude, what? Give me some X's and O's. I'm tired of this shit. Doc Rivers is stuck in 1986. I've never felt so disassociated from a Sixers team before, dude. The Sixers are just boring now. They're just a boring team. Joel, they're just there's nothing exciting about this team. Like, James is no longer the Houston James, so we don't even get the Dan Harden's going off game. We just kind of get a bunch of assists, Maxey some threes here and there, Joel trying to play D, trying to keep his foot right, and then Doc just fumbling around the court. So it's really unfortunate, man.
Yeah, I want to get to these other 4 super chats. Let's go back to the last honest. What's going on with the T-Wolves?
Cat needs to go, and they need to just build around Gobert and Ant.
Hey, Cat. I knew Cat was talented and skillful, not a Cat guy. Why? Because of this. He just, I can't look. There's certain personalities, Ken, that I just, as athlete, right, that you play a sport, regardless if it's team or one-on-one, you can't allow certain things to happen. And what I mean by that, every time he plays against Joel Embiid, he bullies him. He bullies Cat. Cat is a physically dominant presence against 90% of the rest of the NBA. Against Joker, nah. Against Embiid, nah. Against Giannis, nah. But that should be about it. That, like, everybody else that Cat goes against, he should be bullying, right? And then when he goes against the three that I just named, you got to raise your level. And when I see this man shoot all them threes, when I see him not wanting to play in the paint, when you know how I knew he was weak, Ken? When he couldn't handle Tom Thibodeau. When there's never been a game Tom Thibodeau coaches that he don't lose his voice. So you know he gets on his players. And we know that Tom Thibodeau puts defense over everything. And when Cat couldn't be the guy in that system, that's when I knew you're not playing defense. Thibodeau doesn't really have an offensive whatever. He's just going to give you the ball and you do whatever you want to do, but you got to play defense. And defense is a mentality, Ken. And that's how I knew he was too weak.
I thought it was the Gobert trade.
It's Cat, man.
But I'm going to look at it this way. Maybe they, to your point, both of y'all point, maybe they made the move for Gobert so they could turn around and trade Cat later. I think we may have mentioned this before, to kind of get some of those assets back because they gave away a lot.
Yeah.
Trading Cat would get some of those back. And if in the first half of the season you see this isn't working, and we know what Ant can do.
Oh, yeah. Ant's the guy.
So if you want to go Ant and Gobert and then go get some pieces to surround them, that could work.
So, okay. So if you're Portland, are you interested for Cat?
Oh, would Dame rock with him like that though?
I need if I'm Minnesota, I need Anthony Simons back.
100%.
I need Simons.
The trade is centered around him.
I need Simons. I need a pick and maybe another player for Cat. And if you want, I'll throw in another player too if I'm Minnesota. But I'm throwing away a scrub. I'm not throwing away somebody good.
If you're Memphis, are you in the Cat? Are you in the Cat sweepstakes?
You stick with Jaren Jackson because he's too much of a staple on your defense, not staple on your offense, but Jaren Jackson's defense and the mentality switch from a Jaren to a Cat would be too jarring for that team.
Okay. Yeah, because that team is very. I don't think I've ever seen another franchise that through so many different iterations, they've been relatively the same mentality, like the grindhouse mentality. Because this version of Memphis is still that. They're a little bit more high flying or whatever, but they still grind you out, you know, and I don't think Cat fits that. So I agree with you there, Q. But I think from a skill set, it is an upgrade over Jaren Jackson, but the mentality is not. So that, which is sad.
Can I pose a trade to y'all since we're gonna go down this path? Let me pose something to y'all. Maybe I can talk you into this. All right, so Minnesota's GM gets on the phone. They call Michael Jordan. What's good, Mike? I know you got a lot of shit going on down there in Charlotte. Y'all got a bunch of kids. You know what I mean? I know you're trying to reset your franchise. I heard y'all may be trying to get Russ. So if y'all get a point guard, you already got a point guard down there. I need a young point guard from my, young guy. LaMelo for Cat. I mean, y'all get Russell Westbrook and Cat on the Charlotte Hornets. You give us LaMelo. I mean, shit. Right? Dude. I'm trying to tell you there's something I can see because LaMelo being the pass first guard for Ant and dude, it'd be crazy.
Now, look, we talking about highlights all day. Now I would like a LaMelo and Ant together, and then obviously Rudy is gonna be able to just get easy buckets off of that. If I'm Charlotte. Michael Jordan had. Well, let me not speak bad on the guy. I do have his shoes on.
Right.
I think that is something to consider.
It's interesting, right?
It is very interesting because it doesn't guarantee you a playoff berth, but I do think it puts you closer. It is definitely a better overall. No, it's a better right now situation. Because we know Russ, you give him free reign, the man still can average a triple-double. And Cat, even though weak-minded, is better than any big you've ever had there, outside of Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson. Like he would be the third best big in franchise history. So it's something to consider. It's definitely something to consider.
Yeah. Let me get to my computer's actually run out of power. Tracy G, should the NBA do more when it comes to the players and the press conferences, keeping the press conference focused on sports only?
Yes, they do. I think that there needs to be some type of code of conduct. I don't know what they have in place now, but I just feel like we're getting into Real Housewives of NBA when these guys are, at the podium. I like when I just hear LeBron talking about the game, man. I don't want to hear Kyrie get questioned about his religious beliefs and shit like that, dude. I just don't know why they do that. You know what I mean? But beyond the headlines and trying to get gotchas.
Yeah, interesting idea. I wouldn't mind it. Let's just talk about the game and leave it at that. So I could rock with that. I think OKC kind of are really stringent with how they do their players and the media stuff. So it kept them out of trouble. So not a bad idea. Let's jump to Jacob Joel Z. Better player, Brandon Roy, Devin Booker.
Brandon
Roy had way more raw talent than Book did.
Look, let's be honest. If the knees didn't go, he was really challenging Kobe for the best shooting guard in the league as he was coming up, and Kobe was, somewhat plateauing, declining. Brett, big shot, fearless, man. Like go back and watch some Brandon Roy highlights. Like this dude was the truth.
Yeah. Last one. I thought this was interesting, so I wanted to kind of save it for last. What's up with the Warriors' so-called young talent? Poole, Kuminga, Moody, and Wiseman ain't looking good right now. Especially Wiseman, he looks lost. Wiseman has been benched. He didn't even play in the last game.
I think this is another situation where it's not going to be right until he gets to a team where he can play through the mistakes. Like Wiseman, he played 3 games at Memphis, and that program has been under a lot of scrutiny. I'm not going to add to it, but there is scrutiny that guys don't really go that hard, beyond in practice. So I don't know, man. Like I feel like Wiseman, he's probably going to be one of those guys. Like he needs to get to a new situation. The rest of them, though, I think Poole's fine. He just got to play himself into shape. I think Kuminga, that's a shaky situation. And Moody's doing what he's been asked to do, in my opinion. I think Moody's probably looked the best of the bunch. Poole had one great game, though, to start the season. To answer the question fully, I have no clue what's going on with the young core. They just got to continue to play through it, honestly.
Oh, I can tell you exactly what's going on with the young core. Part of what Q said, I've been watching a lot of Golden State. So that's why I feel I could speak definitely about this. Wiseman's issue is that he's not what the second team needs. He needs to be playing more with the starters. But situationally, he doesn't. I can't remember what the stats were because it was quite a few games ago. But one of the announcers was talking about when it was one game I was watching where the second half Wiseman started and his plus minus was through the roof, positive. When he plays with the second unit, there's not the ball movement, the gravity of Clay and Steph. They don't have that on the second unit. So they're able to, crowd him. He's not free. He doesn't get open shots, right? And then they don't highlight him on offense. They're using him as screen and roll, da 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 da. But when you don't, there's not a lot of, he doesn't, in that second unit, they're not guys that have to be out there. So when he rolls hard, it's like, okay, we all gonna sag, bro. Like the sharpshooters ain't out here. So to me, it's more of a internal personnel issue. I think Wiseman will be better as a starter, but Steve Kerr wants to play Kayvon Looney.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say you put Kayvon Looney on the bench, it's the same thing. When Kayvon Looney plays with that second unit, his plus minus is bad. So that's the issue. So to me, they've already paid Kayvon. Wiseman is still on a rookie deal, but eventually you're gonna have to pay him because he was a top 3 pick. So they have some interesting decisions. My thing would be this, and I know it sounds a little crazy because of how much stock I put into this player and what I feel his importance is, but they're gonna have to move on from Draymond to create the time with that starting unit for Wiseman. So this is that dicey situation where I say it's a slippery slope, and why just amassing talent isn't just the answer to all. How does that talent play together? And they're going to have to make some difficult decisions. I think Draymond is out. To me, I would trade Draymond because he has a player option. He's going to accept the player option. He's not going to decline it because he's not going to get more than that in the open market. Trade him now. Trade him now. Create the room. Create the minutes. Or trade Kayvon Looney. But I know that they don't want to because he is that back end defender that is versatile enough to switch on to perimeter guys. But the minutes with the starting unit, you have to free that up for Wiseman because he's not going to be that effective off the bench. Kuminga is the rawest player out of the young core. He's getting better, but he needs minutes. The fact that they read up Wiggins, my question is, what do you do with Kuminga? Because Kuminga is a rawer version of Wiggins, right? So again, decisions. Moody, I agree with you, Q. Moody is the role player out of the young guys. Hey, what you need me to do, Coach Bear? I'll go do that. He's not. He doesn't have high ceiling. And then Poole be fine. Poole. I'm not worried about Poole.
Shooters have ups and downs, man.
Yeah,
shooters have ups and downs.
It's that damn dog he walked in with. Man. I don't know if y'all saw that. He walked in with a damn puppy into the game.
I mean, honestly, you know what? I know we're coming to the end of the show, but it's like I want to stay here because I actually think that this is a weird situation. Also, they're just as in a weird situation as any other team, like a Brooklyn is or whatever. But because they just enjoy success, that we don't look at it like that. But and it's obviously, I think, a good problem to have because Moody, Wiseman, Kuminga, the young core, they need to be in a situation where I think Klay Thompson is not there. I think it's Klay who's going to be the guy who's the odd man out, dude. Like, sadly, I think that Klay is just, it's too many catastrophic injuries that robbed him of, 4 or 5 years of his prime left, but you can't really boo-hoo about that if you're the Warriors.
But I don't know if they had a heart to do it, bro.
To Klay, damn.
But it's a business, and I'm not all the way disagreeing with Q either. I saw this trade package where they said the Warriors get Anthony Davis, they trade Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. And in all honesty, me, it helps the Lakers more than it helps the Warriors because now a crowded front court just becomes even more crowded. So I put it to you like this, Q. And I've talked about this several times. I've never in the history of basketball, my ass is about to turn 40 real soon. Never in the history of all of the years that I've watched basketball, I've seen a dynasty have their original court and draft the next court and play together. I've never seen it. It's never been done like that. Can you have drafted one guy here, of course, matriculate in? We see Magic Johnson. We seen Kareem and James Worthy and all of these older vets, and then boom, you insert this one guy and they go somewhere. Okay, cool. I could see that. But to draft a whole nother 3-4 guys that are the future playing with the past, you've never seen it. So part of the issue is just massaging it. So some of the older guys that cost more money, you got to make decisions. I feel you too, Ken. I don't know if they will have the heart to trade Clay, but from a business decision, I think it would be in their best interest to give Klay Thompson minutes to Jordan Poole and to give Draymond / Kayvon Looney's minutes to Wiseman, because you got to start relying on these young guys, because the old guys ain't gonna be there forever. They're just not. They're closer to the end versus where these young guys are to their ceiling. And you got to get them to their ceiling if you're going to maintain the dynasty. The one untradeable,
Curry.
Chef Curry.
You know, I like for this show to be a little bit more about the game, a little bit more grounded, less takes. But maybe y'all just overhyped them motherfuckers, bro.
Nah, Ken.
I'll leave that stuff for Tuesday. But I was like, hey man, I don't know, bro. It ain't looking too hot.
It's just like they trying to box in a phone booth, man. It's just like it's really hard to do that. You know what I mean? Like with Kerr is asking. Kerr's whole system is like a hybrid of what Pop and Phil did, because those are the two coaches I think had the biggest impact on not just his basketball philosophy. Yeah, and the whole 7 seconds or less and whatnot. So it's like if you don't have a shot within 2 seconds, move it. If you don't have a shot within 5 seconds, go set a screen. If you don't have a shot in this spot, you need to go move. You need to go continuously move. We need continuous motion. We need to have basically a chain type of defense where we swarm the guy with the ball, blah, 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 right? And if you don't have these type of intangibles, you don't have these type of, this IQ that Kerr wants, he's going to put you in the doghouse like Pop or any of those guys that he looked up to, Phil, all those. They historically don't play the young guys, and give them the full reign, to make the mistakes. And I don't know, man. Let me just ask you this, though. If you're the Warriors and you call Washington and you say, yo, I'll give you Wiseman, Kuminga, and Clay for Bradley Beal and name any other player, who says no?
Wiseman, Kuminga, and Clay.
They gotta DC gotta send draft picks.
Yeah.
They got to send draft picks, because I feel you. I just feel like I'm giving up the potential next best big in the league, and if I'm gonna do that, I need draft stock. I need draft stock, because I don't think it's a bad trade, but now you're really putting it on Kayvon, and then that means that essentially you're gonna have to re-sign Draymond. See. This is the reason why I'm saying trade Draymond, because he is on a decline. Like he's still the heart and soul. He's still the Swiss Army knife. He's still like the oil to the engine. But that oil, it's time for oil change. It really is. And I think that you gotta. I like what Wiseman has versus what Draymond was.
At some point, they got to know if he can play or not. Like he started off hot. To the season. I think he had a double-double or something like that or close to it. Then he just fell off. So, but everybody kind of hit the wall, on that team. So it just wasn't him. I think he's the one that just got benched.
Yeah.
So I think they just re-up Looney. So maybe that tells me that they're not too sure about him yet. So I don't know. But I don't know, man. It could be title fatigue, they just won, so maybe they're not taking it as serious before. That typically don't happen in basketball like that, from what I remember, but it could be that.
But look, some of the guys that they lost were very they knew their role and they were professionals in their role. Wiseman is still not a professional. He doesn't know what he is in the NBA yet. But when they had dudes like who's the light-skinned cat that came from Chicago the year before? 3-and-D guy.
He came where?
Oubre?
To Golden State.
Not Oubre. Otto Porter.
Yeah, Otto Porter. Porter knows his role in the NBA. GP2. He's in Portland now, but we saw the impact that he had. Now, I like DiVincenzo, but he's not GP2 on defense, right? So, again, complimentary. Oh, yeah, he could go play with Steph and or Clay because he could play point guard when Clay's out there, and he could play the 2 guard when Steph's out there. Or they could go small ball. He could play bigger just like Draymond can. So, they lost a lot, and they're bringing in young guys that haven't figured it out yet. So, again, I think it's more of a minutes thing and a trust thing from Coach Kerr.
Yep.
He don't trust these guys like he trusted the guys that they had to let go, because even Kerr said, hey, GP, man, go get your money, bro. Like, why you gonna stay here and make minimum? Go make bread.
Yeah. Light years ahead.
Man, I'm gonna tell you this. As a Sixers fan, give me Poole, Wiseman, Kuminga. You can have Joel Embiid right now.
I feel that. You
can have Joel Embiid right now. Give me Draymond, Poole, and Kuminga. You have Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris. I don't care. Take them.
Poole close to being on watch.
He's good, man.
You tripping.
Wrong show. Last one, we're going to get out of here, and it's just more of a statement. Y'all hear the NFL and Commander owner getting sued. I did see it. I did not read up on the article, so I am not fully up to speed on what's going on there. But Attorney General, bro, that he came out. When I saw that, I was like, damn, this shit's serious. Yeah, the AG. Yeah, the AG was the one that made the announcement. Yeah,
it's like that.
Oh, yeah, it's a wrap.
So,
definitely.
Cool. Well, appreciate all the super chats. Appreciate everybody coming to join us once again on this Thursday evening or night. Right now, the score in the game, which nobody is watching, who would watch this mess? Panthers 22, Falcons 9. Let's see. So yep. Cool. I'm glad I did bench Trouble Hubbard. Ooh, I almost started him. But yeah. And yep, Paul. Damn, fuck it. I'm playing against Drake London. He would score a touchdown. And Kyle Pitts still ain't doing shit. All right. Well, we'll catch you guys Tuesday. We'll recap everything that's going on with the NFL and any basketball news that's important. And that'll be it. But you got you guys next time. We out. Peace.
Wakanda forever.
Hey, Ken, did you